5 seconds remaining.
Hello everybody and welcome to the Learn Dota 2 League, Season 13, Week 5. I'm Anani. With me here is Randy. We're taking a look at the 5G Towers, who finally have their team name and logo and everything. Taking on LST. I guess you can only be flamed about that so many times in the cast before you do something about it.
10 seconds remaining.
It's going to be an interesting game, because 5G has had a bit of a roster shakeup.
Yeah, they have. Bit of a. Someone got kicked out the window.
It wasn't me. Starting off here, interestingly, LST is starting out with a jug band. Feel like that's something you don't.
A bit of respect to the Blackacre Sand King.
10 seconds remaining.
Feel like a jug band, a casual jug band like that, is not something you do without. Oh, there goes the Omni. No surprise.
Play a Pango or what? Like London plays Pango, but it's not his scene, so I don't know.
The Wizard Omni night last week definitely earning people's respect, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, the jug band is very interesting.
10 seconds remaining.
I mean, once people learn that on Omni you max your W instead of your Q first, he became broken again. I guess as soon as people picked up on that.
Dire team pick. Radiant team pick.
Rubik's interesting too.
Got Pit Lord, first pick. First pick Pit Lord is very interesting. I would say, usually, Pit Lord at this stage is going to be for... if you're picking Pit Lord this early, you're probably picking Pit Lord this early to set somebody up. Or to kind of soft ban some ones, it's probably to set people up.
5 seconds remaining.
I mean, I know Tiny doesn't like Pit Lord, and 5G does like themselves some Tiny.
Radiant team pick.
Okay, first pick London Magnus.
Not going to give it a chance to get banned out.
Today.
It went well enough for them last week. Well, I don't know if I would even...
I think it goes well for the London team every time he picks it.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't know if I would say it went, like... I mean, it went well for him last week, but I don't think it was, like, a decisive thing last week. We've definitely seen it be decisive in the past.
And it has not gone poorly. Like, we haven't seen a London Magnus game in LD2 where he gets, stomped out, doesn't get anything done.
Yeah, the worst he's done is play second fiddle to somebody else getting more fed. It'll be interesting to see what the ramifications are of a pick this early, though. It's very confident. Something you definitely notice about the 5G Towers, about how they pick, how they lane, how they play, is they're definitely a very confident team this season. They play like it.
Dire team pick.
Techies,
got Techies. Second pick Techies. That's what I like to see.
So what's that, a bonus Techies or something? If that is a bonus.
Could be, yeah.
I think it is.
And by the way, for those of you who watched Season Troll, that will be bonus, who is playing on the 5G Towers.
90% sure it is, yeah.
Presumably bonus. I mean, it might be just some random guy, but it's supposed to be bonus. Bonus is signed to the team. Ogre Magi, the most boring pick.
They don't want the Magnus plus Ogre plus Core to come out on 5G.
You know, it's hard to...
super deadly. Like, imagine an empowered and bloodlusted carry that hits really hard. I don't know.
It's hard to believe that there was a time when, like, seeing Ogre Magi getting picked in an organized Dota 2 game was, like, a rare moment of, like, oh, wow, look at that sort of thing.
Sure.
Now he's everywhere. No CK, by the way.
He's everywhere because people love people that buff your cores.
10 seconds remaining.
Yep. If all Ogre has to do to be a hero is just press E on the carry and stun sometimes.
Dire team ban.
No PL.
It's very item independent, I think.
PL is gone.
The PL is just for Chris, you would imagine.
Yeah, probably. Just getting rid of some comfort picks here. It's certainly not something they're going to play. I cannot think of a worse folly than picking PL into Pit Lord.
Yeah.
CK is a bit interesting. I feel like CK against Pit Lord is also not terribly great.
Kind of
10
stopped last
seconds
week in
remaining.
the Silmarion's game.
Right.
5 seconds remaining. Dire team ban.
Got Troll Warlord. No Troll Warlords here. No, I noticed Troll Warlord's starting to get picked a little bit again all of a sudden. People must be running that over in the majors.
Yeah, I would imagine that's the reason.
We've been given
10
a
seconds
notice of good
remaining.
luck, so good luck to us, I suppose.
5 seconds remaining.
Thank you. Good luck to you too.
GLHF. Good fun Half-Life. Very Pause 1 centric sort of band listings from both teams here so far. Which I guess is fair because, you know, with 5G, I feel like, you know, with 5G, it's like, really you've got 3 big VIPs on 5G.
The three-headed dragon, yeah.
Right. You got London, you got Silmarin, and you got Wizard. Wizard is pretty much impossible to ban for. You just kind of have to ban things you don't want to see. Silmarin's a little bit easier. I think Silmarin's pool is a bit more limited, and London's pool... London is not about a broad pool, he's about execution of what he does have.
Yeah, and he
Okay.
already has the
5
out, so why
seconds remaining.
keep banning
Yeah,
London
you can't
heroes?
you can't target London if he's picking this early. That's for sure. So it is going to be a fairly
Radiant team
not brainless, but just fairly unexciting, I think, ban phase here. Just everything you would basically expect to see gone. Interesting to see the Tiny Man still getting some respect even this late.
I mean, the Silmarian Tiny, really the only thing that got
10
nerfed was the
seconds
building
remaining.
damage, so...
Right.
Which was...
I mean,
it was a part of Tiny's kit that was important, but it wasn't... He can still, like,
I would
shred your team.
say, broadly speaking, Tiny got just kind of hit overall in his early game. It is a lot harder to just kind of snowball at like 5 minutes as a core Tiny.
Right.
It's a lot harder to take a tower at like 10 minutes as a core Tiny.
But let's say a Magnus on your team.
Right.
Dire team
I do
I
think
believe that solves that problem a little bit.
Yeah, Brewmaster. I noticed he's also starting to come back a little bit. And after sort of being in the being lost, it looks like people were stopping picking him when the patch rolled over. Then nope, JK.
Brew's
Fair
definitely an interesting hero because he just gets
10 seconds
more or less a
remaining.
free kill at a level 6 spike if you don't play perfectly around him.
5
He's
seconds
also
remaining.
interesting in that he doesn't really fit particularly perfectly into any team mold or against any team mold. When you have a brew on your lineup, you know, like with most threes, let's assume it's 3, right? I can't see him being 2. With most threes, it's like Pit Lord. You know exactly what you're getting out of Pit Lord. You know exactly what he's going to be, like what he's going to be focused on this game. He wants your Pause 1 to be doing no damage. He wants everybody to be in jail and in the firestorm. He wants to be, you know, he has a very clear, very defined objective. He has a very clear, very defined fit in the mold. With Brewmaster, that's not really the case. You know, you have the theme, the base theme of ult. Brewmaster is going to ult. You know Brewmaster is going to ult. What's he going to do when he does it? That's a lot harder to say. How's he going to build around it? That's a lot harder to say. I mean, everybody's doing Refresher Orb right now, pretty much, but what beyond that? It's pretty much open season. There's a lot of ways he can do it. It's kind of hard to predict, kind of hard to build around, and there's nothing in the game, I would say, that really counters him. He's not in counter fu, right? Nothing really expressly counters Brewmaster except, like, Global Silence, I guess.
I think
Or
Skyrat
the other way around.
is a problem for Brew though.
He's a problem. He's not a counter, but he would definitely be one of the more problematic heroes.
It's
Gee, this will be another one.
They're throwing out silences now against the Brew, which is definitely a way to handle him.
Right.
Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
The Brew
Silence is good
the
against this team in
this
general.
game, I believe.
If there is one thing I will say, it's definitely just generally speaking, there's a lot of silences going on now for everybody, really. Like,
Everybody's in the meta for sure, yeah.
You know, you gotta silence for the Brewmaster, silence Brewmaster. You're doing yourself a lot of favors. Silence the Magnus, and you're doing maybe an equivalent amount of favors. You know.
No.
Skywrath Mage in particular, I think, is a very solid pick here because, well, they're gonna try and run the Pugna to counter it, because that's gonna both give you a nice little silence to use on the Brewmaster, which isn't a guaranteed thing, but it's gonna really affect the conditions in which he can ult. And it's going to give you a nice little long-range thing that you could potentially get off against Magnus sometimes if he's at like the front of the pack. If you can see Magnus and you can hit that W on him, you know, he can't blink for a little while, and that could really screw up an initiate for them.
Yep. But then Skywrath can't live in a fight unless somebody kills another warden, so...
Right. Or
it's
if
one
he
of
just...
the most classic counters in the game, maybe.
Yeah.
Seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
LST is still looking at those ones. No surprise. It would be very, very shocking if it wasn't a one coming out last year.
Yeah, it's
for
a
both
one
lineups.
And, another one.
It's going to be funny to see the ones being picked here because there's really not that many options left, are there?
Yeah,
kind
I
of
mean,
push both the ones into the corner with this
seconds
gigantic
remaining.
list of bans.
5 seconds remaining.
Not terribly likely to have like the best one you could possibly have coming up to bat here, I think.
I think Splurk is still in the pool. Could be interesting.
Could be interesting. Better on LST than against him for sure. I think Slark struggles just a little bit on 5G.
The most notable one that's still in the pool that Chris picks.
Yeah. The you know, the big things for Slark for 5G hypothetically. You know, you got the Underlord who really sucks to be Slark against him. Gotta get a Silver Edge and just pound him at the start of every fight. Skywrath Mage can be nasty to you if you get caught unawares, and of course the Void Spirit, no fun either. No, somebody you're just not gonna kill like the whole game basically. LST looking at Void. No Void on this lineup. I don't know how great a Void does here.
And Slark's gone, so what does Chris pick?
What either of these guys pick, really?
They really have, like, taken out a lot of Chris's main heroes here.
Taking out most pause ones that I would say are serious pause one contenders right now. At least for the context of this match, certainly. In particular, you know, LST, literally all but one ban for a pause one.
Yep.
Should be a decent lifestealer game, I think.
Radiant team pick.
Or
What's
Spectre. Yeah, this hero is coming back into the meta again. It'll be interesting to see how it goes.
Getting buffed, yep.
He's starting to get picked in DPC again, and it seems it's starting to get picked in LD2L again as well.
10 seconds remaining.
That's what you do.
5 seconds remaining.
What do you pick against a Spectre?
They got 31 seconds to figure it out.
Yeah.
Spectre's definitely going to be having a bit of a hairy time in this game, I think. The Brewmaster is just somebody, like, just one gank you're never going to get. Sven!
Choose your hero.
Speaking of people who are getting picked again all of a sudden.
Yep, Sven is indeed getting picked. It's because of his shard, I believe. Which, gets gives like a ridiculous amount of bonus armor in like a AoE. An aura. There we go.
It sort of brings it back to the original sort of intent of the Warcry ability. Obi's got a funny hat.
Yeah, he does. Wizard's got a funny head, so.
Damn. He kinda does, yeah.
It's a pumpkin.
I like how he has nothing else from that set but the pumpkin head.
Yeah.
5 seconds remaining.
I have like one part of a Dark Seer set, so I'm just running around with a big chocolate donut on my back for no reason.
Glad to hear.
That Skyrath set looks like it comes from one of the lesser Kingdom Hearts games or something.
Yeah, it looks like some like new like RuneScape armor.
Oh god, don't that's even more of an insult than what I said.
Yeah, it is. It's a horrendous insult, but I'm standing by it. That's what it looks like. I'll definitely see how this one goes. It's got two kind of re-emerging cores in the pause one position.
Right. You got two re-emerging cores, you've got gotta make our way into the game. Two re-emerging cores, you got a lot of bands centered around them. You can definitely tell from the bands, both teams are kind of expecting the other to do a very pause one focused matchup here. Be interesting to see if they disappoint or if they end up going for it.
Prepare for battle.
Look, they even have clan tags now.
Look. Yeah, they do. Except for Sumerian. And London. London doesn't either.
Yeah.
Or
What?
Obi,
What?
actually only
Wait
Wizard
a
and
minute!
bonus
Yo!
too.
Look at Wizard sponsor!
Hey, how's it going?
This guy knows what he knows what to do to get shouted out live on stream.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I've been plugging his show like every week, so.
Yeah, last time I made a crack like, oh, the Wizard's not gonna be on Five Flames. Be funny if he actually did put it on his own show. I kind of
Blames
doubt he
himself.
did. Yeah. Obi Dog is sponsored by Stinky.
Well, Marion's sponsored by Pain, so I guess that's
Damn.
not much better.
It's very edgy.
Why do I have fog for the Dire? That's weird. Alright, whatever. I guess I don't get to see what the Dire is doing.
That's fine. You can just watch me.
I guess because you clicked on the cameraman button.
Begins.
I don't think I did that. And I don't know how much it matters if I did, because I would be fired Dire Fog too, wouldn't I?
There's like a keyboard shortcut to turn off fog. I just don't remember what it is.
Sad. Well, either way, slight technical difficulties aside, hopefully that doesn't matter much here. Could disconnect and reconnect if you needed to. Seems like this is a good time for the roll call. So on 5G, pause 1, you've got Silmarin, currently on the Sven. Pause 2, London, who high-fived his tower because Iceman wasn't giving it to him on the Magnus. Pause 3, Team Captain Obi, who is sponsored by Stinky and did not know we existed until like less than an hour ago. Pause 4, new guy, you got bonus. It's going to be interesting to see what a post-Tenelson team like this looks like. And finally, pause 5, you got Wizard, who's shouting me out. Probably because every week we're just always putting him over on this show. Of course,
Sure.
apparently that is not a universally working strategy, as far as, but you know.
That's life.
On the other hand, on Lone Sniper Theory, pause 1, you got Chris, who I can lost Peru. On the Spectre, pause 2, you've got the, Pause 2, you've got the Iceman, team captain, on the Void Spirit. A little hassled over here. Pause 3, Boofus / Blackacre, whatever name you know him by, you know him as a Pit Lord in this game. Pause 4, Shockwave, who's sponsored by Dota Buff. Big sponsorship there. On the Skyrath Mage. And finally, pause 5, you got Bliss. You got the Bliss and Chris lane. Having a little run around with bonus by this tree line here. Be a very interesting game. I think this is a very interesting game for quite a few reasons. In no small part, you know, I do think this team dynamics are going to change a lot, having like a totally different 4, especially just kind of out of nowhere, having not really played with these guys.
Yep.
So, it's going to be interesting to see. I mean, he got first blood, so it's a good start, just eating the Ogre Magi. If there is one thing about the new techies, I feel like I'm seeing some pretty early first bloods coming off of him recently. Feel like his level 2 is pretty good, if nothing else. Still able to see nothing but Dire? Or nothing but Radiant?
No, I think I fixed that. Okay, I found the hotkey to fix it, but pressing the hotkey doesn't do anything.
Sad.
Cool.
And reconnect, perhaps.
Why'd do this to me, Gaben?
Well, Obi, getting real low here. Nope, he's fine. Did not have the ignite on him at that particular moment. We're kind of sticking in this lane fairly low. I think there might be something wrong with the servers here, because I'm not dropping frames, but the game is lagging up.
They dove over you.
Yeah, they ended up just diving, just straight took him out there. Once the Ogre Magi got something off of cooldown, they're just like, well, why not? And they were right to do so. You're just kind of sticking around very low. It's a bit of an unfortunate thing. You know, Brewmaster, he lanes alright, but he's got to get those levels up there before he starts really being able to like survive much. If you are at a level deficit, you're gonna have a pretty hard time surviving that early game with him.
Right.
And it's of course going to throw off one of your biggest upsides, which is that aforementioned level 6 power spike. I do wonder how much the famed level 6 power spike is going to do in this particular game. I do think they actually do have a fairly decent setup to stop it.
Yeah,
For
I mean,
Spectre.
Ogre's pretty tanky, and Spectre's maybe equally tanky.
Right. Equally tanky, and of course just has the ability if Spectral is up to just get the hell out.
Yeah. Well,
the
bonus
hell on
is a
techies.
bit of a hairy situation here. He will get killed.
At least he got first blood, but it's not a good turn of events here for
Radiant's
5G in the
courier
soft
has been
lane.
killed. Radiant's courier has been killed.
And then Shockwave just starts murdering couriers here at bot.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
It's very unfortunate to lose both of your couriers in a lane for what should be fairly obvious reasons, I hope. Just losing your entire ability to resupply yourself, you know, support, core, no matter what you're doing is pretty bad. Can definitely tell Blackacre's a show listener with this Pit Lord build. Oh, I just looked away right in time to miss Shockwave, just barely sticking around too long. It's going to annoy Sven quite a bit having to last hit in a lane against a Pit Lord. He has the cleave, and the cleave is all well and good, but you know, if you're getting your base damage blasted away, the cleave is going to start really doing you a lot more harm than good. Mem matchup so far is fairly comfortably favoring Void Spirit here. Iceman 14 last hits up and has a full week of denies compared to a measly one for London so far. I don't think that's very surprising. I think when you talk about the upsides of Magnus, award-winning laner is not going to be on that list. You throw a mid for a different reason. Really, one of the last like old-fashioned mids that I think are still in the running.
Yep.
You know, back in the day, it used to be you sent somebody mid specifically because you wanted them to reach 6 really, really, really fast, and I think Magnus, one of the only guys who's really left who's in that mindset. Now I think it's more about guys who just want a general level advantage rather than a specific early game power spike.
Yeah. I think you did press the camera button because they keep getting dragged back to your view.
It's interesting.
Very unfortunate. We'll have that fixed next game, hopefully.
Yeah.
When I can finally see what London's team is up to again.
Question is, if I can see it, why can't you? If this is the case.
I don't know.
Spaghetti
Spaghetti
code.
Yeah.
Like I said, I don't believe I hit the button.
Top lane is going super aggressive after giving up that first blood.
Yeah, ever since they did not like
They
how
have 3
that
kills
started.
since.
Yep, did not like how that started, and they've been really turning that around. Spectre, not performing that admirably on the last hit strat, but I would bet you good money if you looked at that net worth.
Is under attack.
See a bit of a different story, yeah. 4th place for last hits, but 2nd place for net
Void
worth.
Spirit. Iceman's come bot lane to kill Silmarian.
Yeah, this is not great. Just kind of casually dies. Pugna really can't do anything about it. It's the annoying thing with Pugna in lane, he really just doesn't have saves, aside from just, you can plant the Nether War, but like, what's that really going to do at this
Like,
juncture?
if you level Decrep, you can Decrep him for as good as that is
Yeah,
against the Skywrath.
Yeah, not going to do you much against Skywrath and Void Spirit. London actually just, I think maybe did a little bit of fake out action with his RP there. It's kind of, forced him to blow one of his escapes to just dodge that.
Activates his double damage to break down the tower.
Dire's structures are fortified.
Boots of speed dropped here. Boots of speed dropped here.
I
Who
can't
dropped
see
their
that
boots
'cause
and
I'm
why?
I can't see that because I'm only on Radiant View. Sad.
No, that was Radiant. They're just on the floor. I think
Oh,
it was
it's
Brewmaster's
okay.
boots.
Just because my chat's muted then.
Very
Oh, Xena.
antisocial, Randy.
Yeah, it's true. I'm sorry. Oh, they're going on Chris, it looks like.
Yeah, trying to turn this around. Level 6 is out.
Yeah.
Inspector
Man,
was in a
that's just
bad
ridiculous.
spot exactly halfway through between the trees here. Was not able to just spectral right out.
Temper tornado, but just a little late. But he'll kill him.
With that one
Maybe.
charge though, that was a very
Oh, he's juking
big
through
one.
the trees.
They
Okay.
can't find him. Okay, they can find him a little bit.
That is quite unfortunate if this guy escapes.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Oh,
I
Oh,
can't
nope.
see him because I only have radio vision. Okay, he's dead.
he's sitting there at 50 HP. He burned to death. The Brewmaster boost barely got him to burn to death because it was ignited by the
Unfortunate.
urn.
They pulled
And,
Sven out of lane. He's given up, it seems.
And Bonus just kind of died to follow. It's not starting off the best for 5G, I will say. They do have some up. I hope he kind of comes back a little early there.
Iceman rotated up here. Oh, I can see Dire if I click on a Dire hero. How nice.
That's good.
Radiant structures are fortified.
Why is that happening?
I don't know.
Dear Gabe, please make this work. Anyway, it's not starting off the best for 5G here.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Bliss is gonna go down. Ogre Magi and the Pit Lord just going to go very casually down. The second Magnus shows up. I believe that was first RP of the game for that. Double
I
kill's
can
a good
click.
start.
If I double click on a Radiant hero, I get Radiant view, and if I double click on a Dire hero, I get Dire view, but I can't get both at the same time. How annoying.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Speaking of
Dire's
annoying,
structures
you
are
know,
fortified.
it's got to be a little bit annoying for 5G that their own kills are mostly centered on their off lane, while the LST kills right now are mostly centered on their 1 and 2.
Yep. And
It's a little
Iceman's gonna
scary.
show up.
Oh, just barely whiffed
out of
the
mana.
just barely whiffed the remnant there, but doesn't matter. Goodbye.
There is nothing outside.
And I'm going down, just right down in response.
Consider an alternative.
We'll slow everybody.
Consider an
anything further.
alternative. Any alternatives being considered right now?
Alternative to what?
I don't know, that's just what Void Spirit said. He was just like, consider
Oh,
an
okay.
alternative.
Merlin's farming up really nicely here, at least. Just after abandoning that lane, yeah. Is taking stacks, he's happy.
Yep, he is, well, goodbye, Wizard. Just got very casually eaten by
Nice.
Void Spirit here.
Iceman's just running around the map right now, being a complete terror to everyone on Radiant.
Yeah, this is everything you want to see in a Void Spirit game. This is exactly how you want it to start, and it's very interesting. You know, on one hand, outside of the death, things have been going great for Sven. You know, the lane phase for him, it was against Pit Lord. It was pretty bad, but it could have been a lot worse. And when he went into jungle, nobody really chased him in there. There hasn't really been any pressure on him to like leave or anything like that
Radiant's
so
bottom
far.
tower is
Yep.
under attack.
So like they have, oh, well,
Iceman again.
forces out the second primal split.
Oh, London's here.
Boofus is just going to kind of take the heat for this one, I think. In fact, they're going to look
Honestly.
angrily at this, but
Dire's
Yeah.
top tower
I think the haunt was just in case bonus got low enough. Okay, this might be bad for the Iceman.
Is that a meta?
He kind of ran out of mana. He got a little greedy there.
RP'd.
Got a little greedy there, looking for a kill on bonus. It just wasn't actually that feasible, and ends up paying for it, donating directly to the First Bank of London.
Yep.
I'll say this much: for as rocky as things kind of started off for 5G, I do think if this goes long, it probably is ultimately going to be in their favor to a pretty decent degree.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of an X factor for me because I don't know how Sven matches up against Spectre. I haven't seen that matchup in like 3 years.
Certainly not since they changed up the Sven to Shard.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting to see how they match up. It's going to be interesting to see how much the Pit Lord passive factor plays into that, you know. My gut tells me Sven probably outscales Spectre. Probably gets pretty gross by the end of the game for Sven. But on the other hand, does it change if Sven is 35% off every team fight?
So there's smoke here. One leading the charge with a double damage in his back pocket.
Looking for Chris, but Chris is getting the hell out of Dodge. I don't think they did that in Vision. Kind of spidey senses that work for you there.
Yep.
Got out very early.
Everyone vanishes off the map and you assume they're coming for you because you're highest on the priority charts.
Boofus is not happy with this thwarting attempt.
Yeah, no, it seems nobody's happy with this dewarding attempt, but Wizard's just gonna kind of walk away from this?
Yep, the placement of that Nether Ward just made it a little too hard to just knock him over there.
They're still going.
But
they're
Brewmaster
gonna
is not
blow
so
up
lucky.
over. Yeah. Unfortunate.
Takes a very
That'll happen
casual
to you.
spill.
That's like a long-term stun plus a Skywrath ulti. Yeah, it's nasty business.
Another sort of X factor here, I think, is you know, the rest of the team on the Radiant is like less of an obvious impact factor, I think, than the rest of the Dire. And I don't mean that to say like, you know, what's Magnus gonna do? Like, yeah, he's gonna RP. Don't get me wrong, and he's gonna skewer people. I get that. The question of the day is not what are they going to do, it's how much of an impact is that going to have on what is really the master matchup, as everyone is kind of determined. Everybody kind of drew that line in the sand. How much is the Magnus, Brew, Techie's Pugna going to affect the one matchup, the Fighting Titans, compared to, you know, the Ogre, the Goodbye Pugna?
Yeah, Iceman just blows him up instantly.
Oh, this is bad for Obi. This is really bad for Obi. Just gets caught right in the middle of the Skyrath stuff, but Skyrath is
Marion is dangerous, so
she's gonna die instantly for his trouble.
that's a top net worth Sven cleaving people.
Kind of watching Dire folks on the Dire die here, taking the R out of Dire.
I feel like Sven wasn't paid attention to. He just kind of got allowed to go into the jungle and farm stacks to his heart's content, and we're seeing the results of that.
And it's like you have Wizard, you know, generally there's gonna be stacks. You got a game plan for that.
Killing people across the map. Well, he gives up on that one, but
just kind of loses his faith a little bit. The Wizard just kind of
shockwaves here.
Gave his life for that. Pugna just very casually going down. Does have the Nether Ward out here, but it's just not gonna do anything but slow him down for a little bit. Give Chris some gold. Haunts for a kill, just get some free money, and you know, why not just eat techies offside while we're at it?
He took down to the ignite.
Yep. Definitely a strong support combo here. The Ogre Magi Skyrath Mage combos they just like help each other so much. You know, Ogre Magi is great at keeping people in place for the Skyrath ult. Skyrath is, you know, he's just amping out the damage that Ogre Magi is doing. Very mutually beneficial guys as far as doing the damage goes, and Ogre makes up fairly well for Skyrath's shortcomings. I think it's a pretty well put together support duo.
Yeah, for sure.
I do gotta say that the choice of the supports, the choice of the lineup, it does make the Pit Lord stand out a little bit more, I think. I really kinda... I don't know where he really fits into this puzzle now that it's all said and done. It just kinda, like, you know, maybe just the direction they didn't go, they just got banned out of, maybe? I don't know. It kind of feels like the Pit Lord sticks out a bit on this team. Nobody really benefits from either side of his services all that much. Lots of bangs coming out. Team fight looks like it's brewing up here mid.
Yeah. Okay.
RP on 2 gets the Sword Club.
It's ambitious from London. Oh.
Yeah, very ambitious go. Does not end.
If they kill Iceman, it might be worth it.
Start off looking that great.
Oh,
they do get him. They do get him ultimately, and bonus just bonus. I don't think that was a great idea.
Guess Salmarian's gonna run right into Roche.
Bonus doing exactly what you want to have happen whenever you play Pit Lord. Finn just gonna hit ult and just eat Roche for free. They do have the Pugna here. Pugna definitely is just going to be able to throw up HP into Sven.
Yeah.
So a nice thing you get out of having Pugna is you don't really need somebody to be a tank whenever you have a Pugna on your team. You just need the damage to come out.
Yep.
At least you need the damage to come out fast enough for Pugna to not just die healing you.
Of course, Sven is pretty good at getting damage out, so...
Yeah, he's not that tanky at this point, but he's great at doing that damage. It's a very good early Roche combo.
I'm gonna fight right out of the pit here, it looks like.
Yeah, Spectre immediate. Uh-oh! Oh, that ain't good, oh boy.
He's not... Salmarian's hurt, though.
That was very interesting. That looked like that was going to be a major disaster there. But it was okay.
DP out. If Salmarian had ult there, I think that would have gone a lot better, but he had to expend it on the Roche.
Yep.
That said, they kind of RP and no damage is really coming out to follow it up.
Right. Bit unfortunate scenario that.
And they lose Aegis and their 9-second BKB for not really a whole lot.
And their team won, well, nothing, because they didn't kill anybody coming out of that.
Yeah.
They got the Roche gold, that's it. That's pretty much all they got out of it. And they got a haunt. It's the long and short of things.
Unfortunate. You know, Iceman just cancels out that Aegis advantage immediately.
Right. Rubs it out.
Takes a really shrewd fight outside the pit.
Speaking of fights, what started off as just a small little gank go on bonus is starting to turn into a little bit more here. They're just going to kind of casually go down here though. Sven is in a bit of an unfortunate spot. He's all ulted, he's all drift up, but the only place he has to go is
BKB.
Well-timed BKB there, just totally dodges a couple of things coming out.
He has the stun out. Ooh, okay.
Ultimately,
Iceman gets away.
the ending of this team fight is all the supports die and nobody else.
Yeah.
Sad day to be a support. I think getting this Sven ult out there for really nothing, you know, getting this Sven ult for 2 kills, he definitely gets. Whether or not he does that is.
He's gonna bring Boofus into his tower here.
Very hungry for this kill on the guy.
Oh, can they get him? No, they
Nope.
can't.
Just TP's out. Good strategy.
that.
Very good strategy. That is an RP down the tubes, and London's gonna get tipped for it. What's with Chris and London? These guys have feet or what? I guess it's holdover from.
So, yeah.
Guess that's holdover from Backdoor Boys GG's last season. It is.
Link away from a little bit of danger down here. Although Iceman.
Oh. This is a very annoying spot for Boofus to be coming in from. Pit Lord just TP's in right in the middle of that, just kind of splits up their ability to respond to that, and then just says, okay, done now, see ya.
How the tables turn.
How the turntables, as they say. I think the Iceman lineup, so far playing this fairly well. I think everybody's hero strengths are being used quite well in this game. Everybody clearly knows what they're in here for. Wizard's going to get just wiped off the face of the earth. The Pugna versus Skyrath counter matchup has really not been working out so far. Perhaps the capacity that they were hoping for. Just seems like he's just not enough, and Skyrath is just giving these big opportunities to kind of walk all over him. I was thinking Skyrath was going to have a lot on his plate to deal with through these matches, or through this specific match, but no, but he's been like pretty much fine. No sweat on his forehead so far. Iceman's actually going to turn around and go right back here. And successfully take out the techies and one of his mines.
Yep.
This fight at bot is just eternal. It's just never gonna end, dude. It's been like 3 minutes. Every member of 5G that shows up here just seems to die at this point. The finding is just better leave this one be, I think. Teams splitting up, pushing both lanes. T2.
Solarian's still pretty untouched.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
He's gonna pop ult to take the tower.
Radiant structures are fortified.
T2 trade, looks like.
Yep, I don't think either team. Well, LST doesn't actually want to finish this off here. They actually kind of moved to try and save their own T2 at the very last second there, but
yep,
it's a bit odd. They just kind of walk away losing and they gain nothing.
They're just gonna die.
It is gonna die.
No matter what.
Not now. It's definitely easy pickings for a deny. It's been an unfortunate game for this Brewmaster so far, that much is certain. It's actually been a surprisingly hard game for London as well. I think this is probably, you know, we mentioned earlier during pick phase, you know, he hasn't had a Magnus game that hasn't gone really well yet. This isn't a disastrous performance by anybody's standards. This is definitely like the most it's felt like he's just been pushing a corner, just having like, you know, fairly minimal impact on the game thus far.
Think they're moving for a smoke here, potentially.
Looks like
No?
it.
Guess not. Are you gonna see if
Radiant's
anybody
bottom tower
shows
is
up on
under
this
attack.
wave?
Radiant's bottom tower has fallen.
Indeed, the tower goes down.
Nobody ever denied it.
People are indeed showing up on this wave.
Yeah. London
Oh,
is
okay.
showing up to the grave.
Iceman's dead though.
Yeah, Sven immediately just turns it around. Blackacre gonna follow.
Sven is a problem.
Pit Lord just gets cut right in half.
He's gonna hit this kill as well.
That the annoying Skyrath mage who's been harassing them so much through this game, doing so much trouble, going down without being able to do much in this particular fight. Spectre does get away though. Spectre still has not taken a death, I believe, since lane phase.
They have vision of him.
Kind of half-assed consider going in on that for a second, it looked like. Don't think I could condone that.
Yeah, now Samarian just clears out everybody. And Spectre has the unfortunate position of sit around watching her team die.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
It's not your camera. If I double click on a player, I get like their POV for some reason, and I can't lead to this weird POV mode. Okay,
Very
that's
odd.
really annoying. I wish that wasn't happening. Shoutouts to Valve.
Shoutouts to Valve. Smoke coming in, LSD, 4-man.
Yep, indeed.
Tis mine.
Iceman leading the charge. They just caught a glimpse of Sven at the mid lane. They might go on him.
Sven is just clearing town very quickly though.
Dire's middle
Yeah.
tower is under attack.
Oh. Didn't ultimately
Nothing
catch
comes of
anyone.
it.
Unfortunate.
Catch
Well,
Roche
they
is
do
here though.
keep Roche. Yeah.
Oh, this is bad. Spectre
Ooh, they're
is
going on Chris.
very dead, very quick.
Okay, the buyback for the fight here.
They have big Spectre ult. Goofus is done with this. Never
Oh,
mind.
Salarian!
Oh, Silmarian just very casually dying out there. Obi desperately trying to make something happen here, but he's looking not so good.
Kind of a big Chris buyback. It turns what could be super bad for them into a fight that's kind of a win. I think it's a win because they killed Silmarian and they get the Roche for free. I mean, it's a lot to put into it, but I think it's worth it ultimately. Oh, and we'll get harassed in the pit here.
Primal split number 2 coming out.
Will not be that free of a Roche for them, it seems.
That is a as an Ags Primal split, not a Refresher or Primal split, for those of you keeping track at home.
Yep.
It's a very tense Roche here.
Yeah, it is.
Gareth Mage are gonna go down.
It's dead.
Roche is dead.
It is dead.
But London got the Aegis!
London! Wow, sick. Alright.
Mutual tips go out.
Oh man. LS
Question
needed
mark
that.
comes out. Spectre's kind of losing faith. Iceman is not, though. Cleanly finishes off the fight.
That is so unfortunate.
Missing middle.
That Aegis was their consolation prize for having to expend the Spectre buyback, and they lost it. They didn't get it. London snatches it right from underneath them.
Radiant's top tower is under attack. Radiant structures are fortified.
It would be interesting to see how the 6v5 here works out, especially with Magnus now having Refresher Orb as well.
Yeah, so you do the trick of refreshing before you die, and then using it in second life.
Yeah.
Got smoke.
Yep, 5-man smoke. Everybody coming in here. Looking right at Blackacre.
Who just
Pit Lord
gets
just-
deleted.
Yep. Pit Lord just no longer a part of this game. Lord finishing his BKB off of his own death there. Just desperately going here for you know, not looking at auras in the slightest. He's just going right on for, you know, need Atos to get kills, need Halberd to stop Sven, need BKB to live.
Yeah.
Which means that he is very fragile by Pit Lord's standards.
Oh, Bliss gets dragged back. London's starting to get into London Magnus mode.
Yeah, it took a minute to get into it, but he's finally kicked it out of first gear. He is full on here.
Dire's middle tower is
So that Aegis snatch, it just kind of restored the confidence, I suppose.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
The major spike for London team. They're super powerful right now. Iceman's trying to poke bottom T3 in response to this.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
The Sven does not seem like he cares too much.
He gets forced back eventually.
He's going to be
And
in
Iceman's
a...
gonna force the fight by
Yep.
grabbing Sumerian.
But they just can't overcome the Pugna heal there. So Marin finishes off the tower. Gets disarmed here, but again,
Murphy. Waiting.
can't do anything here. RP and Refresher actually are both still up here.
Yep.
Wizard
Wizard's gonna
desperately
catch up.
trying to lifesteal himself back up, but no such luck. On one hand, that wasn't like a super decisive victory there, like 5G probably wanted. They did lose more manpower in the end for it, losing Aegis and Bugna. But they did take a T3 there, and it's
Yep.
always a good objective to have. You know, I've said before, I'll say it again, I think they matter more than people realize. Has more of a profound impact on the creep equilibrium than people give it credit for.
I think the more important thing is that the next fight they lose, they're guaranteed to lose their X rather than 80% guaranteed to lose their X.
Right.
Radiant are scanning.
Echo Flames could definitely be an interesting one here for them.
This is a super close game. I mean, net worth advantage is 1k.
Right. 1k in Dire's advantage, which you might not expect just looking at what's been happening on the field here.
Yeah, it's because Silmarian is being given a lot of farm, whereas the Dire scores are more equal, perhaps.
Definitely, if we look at the last hit chart, you can definitely see sort of the disparity. You know, Sven Magnus 317 to 179, Spectre Iceman, you know, 234, 206. Iceman is officially Void Spirit in real life.
take that outpost. Ooh, they gave Silmarian the double damage rune for next fight. That's super big.
It's gonna be a lot of damage if it's able to land.
And they're looking to do something.
So far,
Oh.
it has been a question of
Gonna
landing.
go on this London.
Yeah, it's a very brave go. They just chased out a Spectre Illusion all the way to the back line. Wasted about a third, getting close to a half of this Spinel.
DD activated. He is halberded, however.
Viking here, the first
Oh,
good on
he's dead.
Spin's dead!
Yeah,
That
London
ain't no good.
deleted him.
London deleted him. I
Not
think
London,
Iceman probably did that.
Yeah, Iceman deleted him. Oh, my bad.
Once again, Brewmaster pretty much just here to live. Feels like Brewmaster's
Radiant's
only
bottom
real
tower is
significant
under attack.
contribution
roll
to this
here?
game. No.
No, his water panda is alive. Okay.
Yep. Feels like Brewmaster's only real significant contribution to this game so far, basically, has been just ulting and running away in fights, unfortunately for him. Just has not really been able to just have a profound impact.
Not sure if Silmarian gets disabled and dies early like that. I'm not sure what they do because all the farm is on him.
Right. You know, it's the thing about the fighting giants, the fighting titans as I call them. You know, if your titan suddenly falls down before he's able to throw even one punch, you just don't have a team anymore. You can have the best RP in the world, you can have the best techies, you can have every circumstance just go perfectly for you. It does not matter if you just fall down in no time flat. The BKB is just looking increasingly just like an important lifeline for Sin. It's something that you give up when you have a 3 like Brewmaster here, you know, who's going to be building basically just around his ult. You're going to be losing out on your ability to help preserve Sin's life in any real meaningful way. Which means that incidents like that, as that BKB starts ticking down, are just going to become more and more common. You got to play really well around it.
Yeah, they have to have Void Spirit go on someone that is not the Sven, because if Sven dies in one Void Spirit combo, the fight's lost. So you need him to go on, say, London or
Right.
Brew.
He needs to start beating up his own teammates?
Radiant are
Void
scanning.
Spirit?
No, Sven. You're like,
Yeah,
Sven has to go on Brew.
Are
I think
scanning.
Iceman should go on Brew.
Right.
Iceman needs to go on Brew for them to win the fight. That's what I'm saying.
RP here. 2-man,
Oh.
that's both supports. Second
Okay,
RP
another
comes
RP.
out though, gets all the cores! And this fight is just over.
That is massive.
4 kills, 5G, lose nothing.
Oh, the second RP was a beauty.
Yeah, the second RP was everything it needed to be. Just gonna chase out poor Ogre Magi here. Really does
Yeah,
not have
Ogre
much
Magi
hope
here.
to survive.
Yeah.
Not living in a state of bliss right now.
Okay, there you go. 5 for no.
Yeah, no like big buybacks here. I mean, you got Ogre, but Ogre without a tower is not much of an annoyance, to be blunt with you.
Yeah, I mean, Pit Lord is annoying uphill, but
Definitely just be eating more of this. I'm not really sure why they're not.
Dire's middle barracks
I'm sure they're
are
waiting on
under
something while their techies does damage to it.
Oh, they were trying to get Pit Lord to walk forward to spike him out, but they just didn't get him.
Dire's middle barracks.
They get their X regardless, so.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Think about going for the T3 top, just ultimately don't.
They're still. No, they're backing off.
Enemy has vision on the dire top melee racks. Just so you know.
They do, it's true. So that's another way that 5G can win these fights that I kind of didn't mention when I said, you know, Void Spirit needs to go on someone that isn't Sven. They can also just go on Void Spirit.
Right. If
Void Spirit's a lot worse in the defense than it is in the offense.
it is definitely true. He does have this. He does have his Axe. He has his shard. So there's a
Okay,
bit of
they're
a
going
trick
on the Roach Pit again.
Yeah, it's very interesting. Trying to immediately wipe it out, but this time all they're getting for it is support. Rufus is gonna very casually go down here. Void Spirit in a
Iceman's gonna
bit of trouble. Likely fine. The Skywrath Mage is not quite so lucky. Void Spirit tries to get a bit of a word in edgewise there, but just isn't able to get them done. You know,
We're gonna get this top lane probably.
it feels like it was so recently that Skywrath Mage was like one of the biggest factors in this game, and now he just feels so far gone.
Yeah, that's kind of what Skywrath is. You know, he's super dangerous, and then he just peters off.
Even in the capacity of the things that logically last all game for Skywrath, like even the silence, it just feels like the damage amp and obvious function of the silence are just not cutting the mustard anymore all of a sudden. They just can't quite, you know, just completely stomp out the Bruin this time. They're starting to finally edge his way back, you know. After several fights, it really is the only thing he's been able to do is just ult and run away. Now he's suddenly starting to turn into like an actual threat that has to be addressed. Starting to be able to chase down the supports and
Yeah, Silmarin's
more than
12k
it feels
above. Not. It's 12k above his nearest competitor.
Yep. Second set of racks going down. I must say, I feel like the opportunity for a victory here is starting to slip out of Iceman's grasp. It's very murky to see how you make a big comeback from this.
I mean, Sven can still be dealt with. They've dealt with him in these fights. They just
Right.
they just need to get the go. If they get gone on, they don't do well.
Right. But the problem is starting to become, even when they do, like, go, and they can just rattle Sven, you know, at this point, it's starting to get to the point where it's like, well, Brewmaster, you can't ignore him anymore. He's just going to kick everybody's ass if you just let him live. Can't really ignore the Pugna all that much anymore. You know, Pugna, you know, avoiding the Stepford support situation is relatively competitive for the levels here, which is very big for Pugna. Keeping him on the board right like this, getting him some funny traits. It's just making him so much nastier to deal with. Sven gets AC.
Yep, they're gonna look to push this last lane out. What can stop
That's what you
Iceman will try, for sure.
Ooh, how sad. Hi.
Oh, Rufus is here.
Gonna have to BKB here.
Rufus is here to get shredded a little bit.
I believe that was his 7. Oh, he
Ooh,
uses a
Sven.
Rod of Atos, but the funny spin dive.
Yes, Sven has X.
But this isn't good. Sven is just kind of sitting in the middle of everybody. Nobody's in town for him here.
Yeah, this is unfortunate.
Just having to beat up some illusions.
Oh,
They do
the
get into a good
RP.
position. RP on the support line.
That's a sick RP. But, oh,
Oh,
Iceman.
good! Iceman comes out with the very well-timed silence, but London just BKBs at the last second.
Killing everybody.
Ultra kill for Sven. Spectre
Not
does
gonna
not
get
want it
a
in this way.
Maybe gets a rampage here after Aegis. I'm not sure. They're not in a good position.
Comes from the heart. Our mind.
It's a crazy one.
Yeah, very wacky fight.
And another Spectre buyback.
Poor Pugna.
Yeah, very sad for Wizard.
TP interrupted at the very last second.
That's life though. When he gets himself a regen, he's happy.
I take that.
Thing kind of calms down a little bit.
Yeah, after several minutes of just constant fight, crazy fight, one after the other, you know, you get a nice, serene, tranquil opportunity to do things like look at the graph. No,
Yeah, does
LSD's
Wizard
win
shot
rate.
call? Wizard might be their shot caller. I don't
How
know
could
if
he
he
not
shot
be?
calls or not. Yeah, it's
It'd be
true.
very surprising if he wasn't, to be blunt with you.
When your shot caller dies, you kind of just chill till he's back.
Skyreth is going to be taking advantage of this downtime to get a little reading in.
Oh, there you go.
Anything to encourage that Dota literacy. Getting fairly close to 25 on the Skywrath. Wonder how much the Arcane Bolt going through Magic Immunity is going to change things. Probably not
Marion
that
also
much.
40k net worth.
The BKB just came out on Iceman. Void Spirit finally has it coming in. Likely
Yep,
to
they're just
replace
smoking
Null.
Chris here. This could be bad if they catch him.
Oh, they're going to catch Boof instead.
Yeah.
Good lord, once again.
Oops, takes the gank. Takes the go, actually.
Uh-oh, Iceman's in a really bad spot, but everyone just kind of walk past him to go get the Pit Lord instead.
They have Chris in the RP.
Yep, first
Dieback.
RP. They don't have second RP.
Gets over the cliff.
Iceman running away, very low health. 9-second BKB coming out.
We're getting away here. Oh, they got
Oh,
the
no.
Marion!
Oh!
What a play by Iceman.
Yeah, that
Actually,
was a-
Iceman and Chris, a combination there. They kept their head in that fight even when it looked horrible, and they were almost dead, and they still got their goal completed.
Right. They definitely just pieced apart. They just definitely took apart the 5G ability. Oh, well, this has to happen once in every game.
It's extremely sick.
Took apart 5G's ability to really take any part in that fight.
Radiant's bottom
They just
tower
couldn't do
is
it.
under attack.
You know, they're just getting thrown around in circles, just chasing everybody they could find.
Yeah.
You know, London runs out of mana, he just runs out of the fight. Silmarin runs out of mana, he just stands and takes the death.
Radiant structures
Well, he wasn't
are
necessarily expecting.
fortified. Radiant's middle
I think the crux of the what goes wrong in that fight, though, is Iceman just getting pretty ignored. You know, he ends up in a stun at the very start of that.
Radiant's bottom tower
He ends up in the Sven stun, I believe. Goodbye, bonus. Ends up in the Sven stun, I believe. But he just kind of gets ignored, and now they're gonna, not as a result of it necessarily, they're gonna lose a Rax for this. Not gonna throw buys backs at this, not too surprising, because you know, they definitely got Rax to spare.
Radiant's bottom barracks has fallen. Dire's middle tower.
It's a good way to take advantage of this. Good way to start edging yourself back to a place where victory looks reasonable for you. Though, make
Net
no
worth
mistake.
advantage is less than 1k.
Make no mistake here, this is definitely still a situation in which I think, you know, Dire are definitely the underdogs. LSD still the underdogs here.
God, that
You know-
Chris Iceman play to kill Silmarian, even through, like, at a time where I think most other players would just run away and tried not to die.
Huh! Void Spirit puts that out literally the second Roche respawns. Very well timed.
Nice.
Yeah. It is the ultimate analysis on that fight, though, is that at the moment, Sven can get killed if everything goes perfectly, but everything still has to go perfectly, and if it doesn't, they just kind of all die.
Yep.
If they can get to a point where Sven can get killed in a team fight where literally everything doesn't go in their favor, then that's going to be, you know, we're back into like a really competitive environment rather than LST just trying to
They want to
pull
force
themselves
something
back.
here.
Well, they thought about forcing something here. They're going to be forcing a defense of the T2 out, perhaps.
Running in a triangle. They're
Yeah,
all
pop swap out a
here.
Wizard. Wizard who is going to die in mere moments.
Thanks again.
Yep. No good news for Pugna this season. 5G just runs straight into the tree line. TPs.
Yep. And gives this Rosh up, perhaps?
Looking like it so far. Slumberan's saying, no, we probably shouldn't do that, guys. It's not very hard to see why. This is a very slow Rosh. You just don't really have the damage or commitment ability for this. I believe that was a dieback for Pugna as well. He is dead for about half a century. Yep, that was Pugna's dieback.
Definitely thinking about contesting this.
Notably, some of the members of the Dire, their buyback is coming up fairly soon.
Yep.
I do not believe we've had the dieback on Spectre
Oh,
so
he's
far.
going. Solarian. He's
Arrow
silenced.
split in.
Purges that off immediately.
Kills Skyrath behind the Pit Lord there. This ain't good.
Solarian's in trouble.
Everyone just
He's dead.
walked around him and ignored that.
And now they just
Kinda-
get the Rosh.
Kind of standing outside on the fight, was not able to get an RP out there, and yeah, that's a very free Rosh.
Roshan has fallen to the
Oh, how the
Pressure
mighty have
surge
fallen.
Just a few minutes ago, I would say 10 minutes ago, it looked like LST really just did not have much of a realistic chance to win this game. 2 racks down, just seemed like they got creamed every team fight. They're starting to really figure out how to get under the skin here. They're starting to really figure out the operation. How do you successfully win a fight against this lineup?
Yeah, they're
Doing a very
playing
good job
very
of it.
well. Actually, one of the smartest games I've seen this season, I think.
Notably, in the last fight, the biggest thing about it, the biggest deciding factor, London not able to get an RP out. Just not what you want to have happen to you as a Magnus. To have the refresher orb and you not even be able to get the first RP out, that's not great. It's not a great scenario.
Radiant's middle tower has
And
fallen.
I do think that the Iceman lineup, LSD there, did do a pretty good job at just making it so that's the case. Just spreading out in such a specific way, using their abilities in such specific time, you just couldn't stop it.
Yeah. Making
Versus
every
Silent
RP attempt possible unpalatable. Okay, they do
Uh-oh.
find Chris though.
This ain't no good.
Yes, it
Chris
is.
sitting here behind the T4s.
Can they respond to this?
Oh!
You got
London
mashed.
tried to go for the instant RP, but it just didn't work. London pushing the wrong Spectre into the fountain. Brewmaster Bears
Price
marching out.
averted right there.
Nobody
Oh,
wants
the
to move
first
beyond
hit
the T4.
bash for the Spectre. He was dead if he didn't first hit bash.
Very sad. Can we tip Gabe for that one? I think it's a swift blank.
Did you ultimately have to back though? 5 minutes away from seeing tier 5 items. Fun. Giant's ring on Sven, let's go.
Can't wait.
Radiant are scanning.
They find a couple supports here.
Magnus, first RP comes out on just Skyrath Mage alone.
I just wanted to
Good
lead
eye.
him from the fight.
Chris is here.
Rush. Oh,
Chris is here, and he's just eating
he
spin
got
shots
RP'd.
for breakfast. RP2 goes out, and down goes the Spectre. Buyback is available. Buyback almost certainly going to be necessary, because that's actually Spectre's formal diebacks. It's a very long death timer.
Radiant's middle tower
yeah,
is under
but
attack.
they're taking T4 damage from the creeps here. Wizards gonna immediately go deal with it.
D4 far down, Ancient now open.
Has fallen.
God, the spot wave is so annoying for them.
Right. Iceman has been
Awesome,
pretty
Marion.
consistently poking it from the back line. Charge in from the Magnus there. Buyback's coming out now. Right on top of
That's it.
Silmarin's head.
Okay.
Who gets tipped for his troubles. Primal split is out. Everybody is kind of content to just leave Brewmaster be. Splitting up his bears, trying to kind of confuse the escape. He gets out ultimately. So that's not nearly as bad as that fight could have gone, but boy, that wasn't any good. That wasn't
Yeah,
instant game over for man.
They kind of picked Silmarin off there.
Right.
He was looking to kind of put the last dagger in them by picking off the Void Spirit. Ultimately,
Right.
he gets picked off himself.
They did get the, the dieback off, the buyback off the dieback. It is going to be
Yeah.
very, very long for Spectre to come back next time Spectre dies. I would say you could perhaps say,
He does in the
generally
next
speaking,
7
yep.
minutes game, yeah.
Yeah,
And Silmarin has buyback, so it's not the case for him.
right. Every fight is potentially game over for LSD, but every fight also kind of feels like it's potentially game over for 5G at this point as well.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
I mean, all their cores have buyback at the ready. I don't think so. I think they have to lose 2 fights.
The big thing is that
Whereas,
you lose a lot.
LSD only has to lose 1.
But you lose a lot with Sven with no ult, whereas I don't think you lose quite as much with Spectre, is a big part of that. Sven ults, accomplishes nothing and dies, and he buys back. He's basically on half a leg
Yep.
when he comes back up. So his buyback is not quite as strong as it would look on paper. US Danny once described this scenario as basically a melee creep. I don't know if I go that far, but not a bad comparison.
I see a rapier coming up, and Sven's quick buy.
Looking to end it all. No surprise. He's got plenty of money too.
Yeah, that's Wizard's career going to Secret Shop. Gotta keep an eye on that.
Yeah.
Oh, he's walking up here. Are we getting our first rapier of the game?
Brewmaster just got a
Not
race
yet.
backed. That's a very
Yeah, he
interesting
did.
end to pull out at this point.
Such a tense game.
Five-man smoke coming out from LSD.
Okay. They catch someone. They see
Magnus.
Obi.
Everybody
Obi
got
blinked right
out.
into them.
Well, I thought Obi got out. No, he blinked the wrong way. Immediate buyback.
Yep.
Not terribly
Accept
surprising
that.
there. Vision
And
getting
the counter
established by
smoke.
LSD.
Counter smoke.
Our
Oh,
first
London!
RP hits absolutely nothing, and goodbye London. Again, he does have buyback. Chris is here.
Yes, he does. Chris is getting cleaved right now.
Chris is getting chopped to pieces.
He
Sven
wants
is
it.
so fast.
Under attack.
Oh, he
And
blinks.
goodbye Chris.
Got him. Although, Skywrath is making plays right now.
Sven's actually dead as well. He actually buys.
My strength.
Yeah,
He's
he's coming back.
Not ready for this to end. Not ready for this fight to be over. Primal Split coming out. Refresher Orb on the Magnus here. She's getting bash locked, it feels like.
Radiant's Ancient is under attack.
Radiance Ancient is
Yeah.
under attack. Oh man, look how low that is.
Yeah, London.
Slamarin runs all the way back from the fight to try and undo that.
Oh my lord. This is a good game. Some good Dota.
It's a very tricky situation now.
Yeah, London's
Is
likely
super
dead.
dead.
Yeah.
Is under attack.
Fight is still going on. They have Iceman in a compromising spot here.
Dire's middle tower is under
Ooh,
attack.
he got out.
Getting out here.
I'll have to settle for the ogre.
50 seconds before
And
the
there's the rapier. There's the rapier.
50 seconds to Spectre coming back in.
Divine
Iceman up
rapier
on.
alert.
Void Spirit lacking in BKB. Not wanting for any escapes, but certainly lacking for BKB at the moment. 30 seconds on Spectre, looking increasingly unlikely anything gets done with the Spectre dieback.
Yeah. Oh boy. Now next fight is where it takes all.
My path
For sure.
leads to riches.
Bit of a question about if Spectre can survive Sven long enough. It's definitely a question of having to do that. Spectre dies
There's
in
one
like
buyback up on the entire map, but it's Iceman.
if Spectre dies on the Echo Saber from Sven. That's it. Well, not the Echo Saber, the Swift Blink shots. That's it. That's the end of the game for sure.
Chris's buyback will also be up by the time a fight happens, I believe. So we'll have Chris and Iceman. But cores aren't radiant. Do not have it. Won't for a while.
And Brewmaster is dead.
Yeah, he is. He's gone for 120.
Not a good way to start this out, that's for sure. They're down Magnus, they are down Brew.
Magnus is coming up. Can they defend this?
Hey, they got techies, right?
Defense of the Ancients indeed. Taking that to the most literal interpretation of the term. Let's go.
Magnus walking out here. Desperately wanted to get something done there, but couldn't find it. Just couldn't find the RP. Everybody just immediately cleared the second he got up. Four v5 now.
Yep.
Radiant's
Okay,
Ancient
hold
is under attack.
Solmarian's
Sven.
ult in response. Oh, he's disarmed.
He's disarmed, he was stunned. Spectre's haunting in here.
I think it's fine though. For now.
Bonus going to go down.
Radiant's Ancient is under
Everybody starts being the Ancient!
Oh, it's gone.
And there it goes.
Alright. GG.
Lone Sniper Theory with a very impressive comeback. I think very good play from them here. Finally really felt like they had an answer to that London Magnus in this particular game. Which is a first for LD2L
For sure.
at least. For those of you who are watching on YouTube, we will now be cutting this off, going to our next match, but for those of you watching on stream, we'll see you in just a minute. Well, we'll see you right now, actually. There will be no minutes.
Yeah.